Hello, this is Tony Lenz, Stine corn agronomist, and today I'm in Vermilion, South Dakota, out at a plot today, and we're going to take a look at some of the hybrids. It's July 12th. Mainly we want to look at the pollination of our corn hybrids and how early some of these silk and pollinate. We really like to look at if the silks come out before the tassels do, and it's amazing how some of our late day hybrids also like to pollinate very similar to our early 100-day hybrids. And we'll take a look at some of these hybrids that we lay out, and we'll kind of look at the environment that we have here, because this area has been very dry just around Sioux City, Iowa. And so what we've had is we've had a few rain events, nothing more than an inch at a time, and it's been kind of some tougher dry conditions. And we'll kind of look behind me, you can kind of see out there, we've got some shorter plants, we've got some upright leaf structure. A lot of that is just the leaf type, but they are definitely trying to conserve moisture or protect themselves. And we'll look at some of these hybrids we've laid out on a board to kind of show you what stage they're at. Again, it's been about 75 days since we planted this corn, and really kind of tells you we're going into pollination period here. So we are looking at a hot weekend coming and a week ahead of us. So hopefully we can get this pollination done before that heat comes. And we're right at that right now. So it's great to see one of our hybrids at about 115 day that has some tassels that are starting to come out. And we're doing a really good job of pollinating right now, the MX442-20. And then another hybrid that's right around 100 days. So we'll take a look at this board and take a look at these plants and kind of talk about the plant structure. Okay, now we want to take a look at the comparison board and lay these plants out there so you get a look at the true plant material that we have and kind of some characteristics that we want to point out. I just want to mention again, this was planted on April 27th. Interesting is we did the flag emergence study out here, so we wanted to see when the first plants emerged, and we were comparing two hybrids, and that actually happened. The first day was on May 12th. So you can see by that we had some really good early season growth to get that first plants out of the ground on May 12th. What you do is you do a comparison for 4 days in a row to see what emerges, and we had very good emergence on the first 2 days. So May 12th and 13th we had a lot of these plants up. And as you look on the board there, we talk about today is July 12th, which I think is real interesting is, you know, we have to say it approximately takes 60 days to get from emergence to pollination period. And right now we are, you know, ironically it's July 12th today. So we're about right at that 60 days to get to this period. And so we'll kind of talk about that, where we are, at what stage we're on these hybrids. But first thing I want to talk about is just the overall root mass. We'll start on the left side here. This is MX442-20. Right next to that, you can see the MX709-20. Next to that is 9752-32. And then one of our old standbys is 9808E-20. I think the one root mass that to me really stands out is the 9752-32. When you dig that up, it takes a lot of work to get that out of the ground. And that is a taller plant too, is what we'll go to next. So it's interesting to see that kind of root mass. And let's look at the overall plant height of these hybrids. If you come along and take a look at that, you can see our MX line here on the left side is definitely a little bit shorter stature, very upright leaf structure. That is a Stine genetic characteristic that you see, very upright leaf structure, not a tall plant. Then you come over to that 9752, definitely a taller looking hybrid. A little bit wider leaves, a little darker green than maybe the other two. And then we look at the old standard 9808E-20, kind of falls in the middle. The next thing we want to look at is pollination time that they go through. So what it's interesting here is you've got this MX442 here that on just a couple days ago we went into pollination where we had the tassels out and we had the silk out. So that's a 102 day. That was just a few days ago going into the process. Next to it is MX709-20. And you can see, we call that about 110 day. You can see how close these two are, because you see the tassel is coming out on the MX709 on my right there. And you can see that it is putting the silks out. So it's amazing how close our hybrids do on their silking and their pollination. We come over to these later hybrids, and it's real interesting is we've got this 9808E-20 on the right side. If you look on there, you're seeing some tassels already coming out. So that is a 115-day hybrid that is already starting to get into that process. That's hard to believe that you have a 115-day hybrid on this board, and then way on the left you have a 102-day, and they're really going to be within the same week that they're going to go through that pollination period. Now you don't see the silks out yet on the 9808E-20, but on these other hybrids, the MX lines, we definitely see that a lot of times is where the silks are coming out on the same day as what the tassels are. And that's good to see, because then you don't have any problems with missing that nick or getting the ear to develop and getting those kernels, because we used to see that where the tassels would come out much earlier. And it seems like these silks are doing a very good job of coming out at the same time that pollen is coming out. So those would be some characteristics that we're looking at when we're looking at this lineup. Looking at the root structure, looking at that very upright leaf structure here on the left of our MX line, seeing what maybe some of the traditional look on this 9752-32 has for that taller plant. And this 9808 is just fascinating on how early it flowers. And what we're trying to do with that is beat the heat. And we're gonna have a very hot week coming up here, going into that July 15th area around here. So we would love to get this pollination done on these, even on these late hybrids in these areas where we consider some droughty conditions. And as you look out over that field, we definitely have some pineappling of that leaf. So this plot is definitely stressed with a lack of moisture here.